Welcome, everyone, to this briefing brought to you by the Israel Defense and Security Forum, IDSF. Today's briefing is a special one. As you probably know, throughout this war, Israel has developed and deployed many technologies otherwise unseen in order to protect our troops, in order to achieve victory on the battlefield. And I'm joined today by a defense expert, Major Yohanan ben Yaakov, who is going to review for us, in his view, the top 10 new technologies that Israel is using on the battlefield to achieve victory. Yohanan, are you up for the challenge?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Wonderful. So let's jump in. Item number one, technology number one is the quadrocopter.
Yes,
What
it's the
can you share with
quadrocopter.
us?
Yes. Let me tell you how, the whole thing, how that it developed. Actually, it did not root it from the IDF technology system. It's when the war started, just the guys who were the fighters in the battles, they've realized that they need something to find out more and to get more intelligence and to get more coverage on the battle zones, really, while fighting with the terrorists of Hamas. How the whole thing started, and they brought quadrocopters from home, and they start using it, and other units have started to say, listen, this is working very well. Why don't we get one, and why don't you just share with us, and why do you try with us? The point here that with the quadrocopter, that it gives you other angles that your eyes doesn't see, and you can send the quadro over behind corners, behind walls, or inside rooms, or inside buildings, that you can direct exactly the fire, and to those that they are inside the that that's a very good one. Thank you. And you see the camera right here, that it can turn, and it can go around 360 degrees, and the people who are viewing it inside, they know exactly where to send the guys, and where, or to warn them where not to go, because there are terrorists, or any other something which they might be deterred from, and so that's the one. During that time, when the whole thing, in the next 2-3 weeks, when the war started, the IDF realized that they have to ship, and they have to bring more this type of instruments to the combating units inside Gaza, and right now, just about every unit, from the platoon layer up to the brigade, they've got several, if not 20s or 30s to each unit, and they are using it very well, and that's a big life saving. And not only that, it's very effective, and the results are fantastic, and it's a tool that practically no one goes without it, even at night. They are using it. It has some infrared, some, it depends on the effectivity and the technology of each instrument, but it's being used during the night also, Moshe. I'm sure that I've got some people that are very close to this kind of instruments that they are working with, and they told me that they are very effective, and they are very proud of themselves, that they are using it. And again, it's a big life-saving kind of an instrument that is being used during combat. If you want to add something to it, or you want to ask me
No,
something.
let's move on. We got to cover your top
Okay.
10. So let's
Yeah,
keep going.
yes,
Number two is
yes,
the Air Laura missile.
yeah,
What can you share
yeah.
with us about
Yeah,
that?
the Air Laura missile actually started first as a missile from the Israel aviation industries, and it was developed as a surface-to-surface missile. However, the people, the engineers, they've realized that it can be used, because there are so many engineers that they are working on this project, that they are not only surface to surface, and they are mainly working on air, like for F-16, 15, and of course lately the F-35. and it's very good for pilots and for jet fighters that they are targeting to a long distance targets, and they don't have to see that target. I think I've mentioned that in my previous interviews that they've interviewed me, and especially they've used it last April 24, and of course the last one in June in 25 against the targets of nuclear centers, and against mainly launchers of missiles. Against missiles, it's also a missile to a missile kind of a missile, and it's a very effective, and it's with a high precision. It's a fantastic one. And what the whole thing is good about that, it's a long distance air to surface. That means that the pilot doesn't have to see the target with his eyes. It doesn't have to come over. It's practically it can shoot it from maybe 400 kilometers, which is about 250 miles away from the target. This is highly appreciated by the pilots themselves, and it saves them the possibility that they might be intercepted, God forbid, from anti-air defense systems from the enemy side. However, what happened is that in April 24, that Israel, before attacking any main targets, they have, first of all, they wiped off all the air systems of the Iranians, and therefore it has become quite effective. And once it was all wiped off, the S-300 and the S-400 Russian anti-defense systems, Israel was given the freeway inside Iran to hit anywhere they wanted: Natanz, Khorramshahr, Damkin, and other and Fordow, of course, and it practically the air was clean and fast, all controlled by the Israeli Air Force. I like to go to the second one. Actually, the precision is based on the GPS, which is directed actually and could be derived from types of instruments that they are sent to the pilot, and the pilot can direct the missiles straight to the target. And it's again, as I said, it's based on a GPS. So and one thing I like to add to the low air LoRa missile is that the missing of any of such missiles on target, it's maximum 10 meters, which is about 6 yards. So this is highly accurate, and it's practically on target anytime that any such a missile is being launched to the targets, and and whatever they've done, was quite successful. Practically all targets have been hit with such missiles. Let me go to the second one. Actually, there are three.
Wait, Yohanan, just so we clarify, that was number 2, the Air LoRa. Now, coming up, you have a lot of missiles on your top list, which is good. So number 3 now is the Mars Supersonic. Why don't you tell us about that?
It's very much the same. It's just its capacity to kill and to it's larger than the LoRa, the Air LoRa, and it's a supersonic. It's quite fast, and but the pilot has to come quite close to the target and really fly over it, and practically he sees it's blown up before he's over the target flying. And it was developed to a different types of targets, but then the Israeli air defense industries have met the accuracy designed that it was first to the F-16, and now it's also for the F-15 and the F-35, the American one. One thing I like to say about the Mars, the rocks, and the Nimrod types, and of course the other missiles, which I will mention soon, that some of them are being produced in United States by Wright and Company, the one that they are producing all type of air defense systems. And what happened is, I like to say this one couple of sentences regarding what happened during the Biden administration, that when Israel during that their administrations, they've asked for many types of missiles, and once it was already on the ship docks in New York Point and New York port. And once the ship is sailed out, the Biden administration called it back, and it was downloaded. And of course, after pressures and everything, it was asked to be shipped again. And it was not only missiles; it was the D9 United States makers also, which is important, which I will talk about it later on. And there is another one, another missile which I like to tell you about it. It's the Rock's Extended Air Surface Missiles, and which is electro-optic guidance. It's been guided. There are, as you can tell, that there are electro-optics, GPS, and of course the type of the air LoRa, which is directed also by a GPS, but from a long distance. So all these four kind of missiles are given the complete assets of the type of the abilities and the capacities of the Israeli Air Force to get on targets, and they are practically all of them are Israeli, made by Israeli aviation industry. Some of them by Rafael, and some are by the joint ventures with Elbit, which I will talk about it more. And you want me to go ahead, or you want
Okay,
to?
so let's just make sure we're on the same page.
Yes,
So you
please.
spoke about the quadrocopter. That was number one of
Yes,
technology being deployed across the units in the IDF. Two, three, four, and five are different types of missiles. You talked about
yes,
the Air Laura, the Mars Supersonic, and then you mentioned the ROCKS Extended Air-to-Surface Missile, which has that very unique electro-optical guidance. And then you just mentioned the few types of the
of Nimrod.
Nimrod long-run air-to-surface
Yes,
missiles. Okay, so we're done with the missiles. Should we move on to the
yes, we
next
can.
level of technology? Number six is the
Because
remote
it's
control
about the D9.
D9. The
Yes,
D9. What can you share with us about the remote
the
control D9?
The D9, it's fully American bulldozer, as practically, and I'm sure that most of our audience know about it, and they've seen it everywhere in the United States. But it's heavily used right now during this war. And what is the technology advanced technique that the Rafael has produced for the D9, that it can be remotely controlled. I mean, this big, gigantic iron kind of a bulldozer, it can be guided and from a remote area, and it's used to make positions for soldiers, and it can, of course, down and destroy buildings, and dig deep into the ground to find tunnels, and it's a fantastic type of an instrument. And let me go to the next one. I think our
Right.
audiences have
So, so
realized
you're
this. Yes,
right. So the unmanned bulldozer is amazing. That's in number six. Number seven is another unmanned
yes.
vehicle. What can you tell us about the unmanned APC?
Yeah, okay. The APC is the armored personnel carrier, which are 8 ton, and the and let me okay, there's another one, okay, which are both are used during fighting and during the and battle zone, and they are carrying, of course, personnel, which is practically they use trophies, which this kind of vehicles can move inside of to the battle zone, though they are being protected from anti-tanks or anti-vehicles rockets from the enemy side. And this kind of trophies and this kind of both vehicles have been produced, of course, by Rafael, and they are very effective, and they are used. And just about the troops, they very much want to continue and to use them. Then the old one, I don't know, but if you know, but there have been some kind of armor APCs, which they were in Israel, in the Israeli IDF until 10 years ago or so, and they've been since World War II and the Vietnam War. They've been observed in the Israeli army, and they have been remodeled, but from now on they are no longer being used, and it's called the Naval one. That's the name of the second one, which I wanted to tell our audience. So that's the number 7,
and then number 8.
Number 8
is a little bit of a different device than everything else, and it's, of course, artificial intelligence. That's highly advantageous right now in this war. What can you tell us?
Okay, this is used mainly in the corporate intelligence office, and they've got these devices that they can intercept thousands and thousands of telephone calls, and of course network videos from TikTok to telegrams and to WhatsApps and different on and any types of devices that there is in that which the enemies are using. Okay, this is being absorbed automatically into their servers, and it can bring assessment automatically, fast as possible, to the decision makers, and they can provide their recommendations to the officers in the battle zone, how to do it, and what the enemy think, and what the enemy his intentions is all about. The most important things is to know the intention of the enemy, what he is about to do now, or within the next day, or within the next hours, so the troops can be prepared and can provide any type of interception, or any type of weaponry against this kind of intention that the enemy has in mind. So that's a number. That's the intelligence one, and that was number 8.
Okay, number 9. We move from the airs to the computers, and now we are at sea. Number 9 is the naval defense systems in place.
The naval systems that right now are being used, and was quite successful, and I'll explain why and how. And it's practically taking the Iron Dome, the and other anti missiles of long distance ballistic missiles, which are incoming from either from Iran, but mainly from the Houthis, because this is something the coastal navy are using in the Red Sea, and they are able to intercept missiles from a corvette, from just a boat inside of the in the ocean or in the sea. And if they can intercept that, then they receive automatically the data from the air defense systems, and they've been they've intercepted quite many of these missiles from practically most or not practically even all of them, except those that we have let them land because we knew that we don't want to spend the money. I mean, if each missile is about between $300,000 to $500,000, that's quite expensive. Now, if we know exactly if the missile is landing in middle of nowhere and there are no, it's not an urban area, it's no townships of kibbutz or anything, or it's in the middle of the desert, we let it go. But this is the Naval systems, and it's being used professionally and with high success. Practically most, or if not all, of the missiles from Houthis, because it's 2,000 kilometers, which is about 1,600 miles. That takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get. So our forces, they've got anti-air systems. We have long time to see how and which kind of a device the air systems can be deployed on.
Okay, and number 10, and I don't know if this order is the most important first or last, but number 10 is something
It's
that
not.
certainly everyone knows and has very much appreciated during this war. Number 10 is the Arrow 2 and 3.
Yes. The Arrow 2 and 3 have been improved during the last 2 years, ever since the war started. And the Arrow 2 used to be defined as a David sling. And right now, because it was improved more distance than the David sling was to begin with, and it's very close to Arrow 3, so they named it right now Arrow 2. So it's for slightly less distance, Arrow 2, and of course Arrow 3, it can reach the missiles, the ballistic missiles, the incoming one, even from the up in the atmosphere. And it's quite effective, and it's have intercepted most of the Iranian ballistic missiles. And I like to just add one sentence about the Iranian ballistic missiles. But about 50% of these ballistic missiles, once they've been launched, most of them are just falling down either in Iran or either in over the launcher themselves, or if they are successfully up being launched over to Israel, then either Arrow 2 or 3 are intercepting them down, or even F-15 and F-16 can intercept ballistic missiles also, and it practiced very well together with the United States Army, if you remember, last April 24.
Yohanan, this has been very informative. Your top 10 technologies deployed in this war to defend Israel and the Jewish people. We have just a few minutes left, and I know you have a lot more technologies. Can you give us just one bonus item?
Okay, I can tell you just one more, and it's the Heron MK UAV electromagnetic beam systems, air to surface missile, and it was improved immensely during this time. You see, the Heron is being practiced over everywhere in the borders of Israel and in the enemy territory, but mainly right now is 24/7 over Gaza, and there are not just one of them. There are a few of them. It's a drone. It's a very effective one, and it's providing information 24/7 on any movement of the enemy or anything that is changes in the surface of the battle zone. Also, it's used all the time in South Lebanon over the Hezbollah. We have not done with them yet, although there is a ceasefire, but the ceasefire is not being kept according to the American, Lebanese, Israeli agreement, and therefore we have to be on top of it. And they are trying every time to see if we are in a high alert or not, and they are trying to see if they can infiltrate anything toward us. But so far, we are blocking them and we are bombing them either with the drones, or of course, most effectively, it's with the I-15 with the F-15, F-16 American jet fighters.
Yohanan and Yaakov, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. It's always great to chat with you. Thank you to all of our viewers. Thank you to all of our supporters for tuning into this briefing. We will be back with you next week, Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. here in Israel. Until then, stay safe, stay strong. Take care, everyone.